Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Behind the Gate podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We're starting to feel the momentum again. We're bringing the episodes back to back weeks. AJ was just on vacation, but we're trying to get some momentum back into the show. So we appreciate you tuning in. And I just wanted to give a quick little intro because I have to apologize. I wanted to get ahead of this. We had some technical difficulties this episode. My mic wasn't working for whatever reason. We couldn't figure it out. We thought we fixed it. We didn't realize that it wasn't working until after the show ended and we got the recording and we went into post. So it sounds like crap. It was just picking up the audio from my iPad, and me and AJ were bantering back and forth about some of the noises he was hearing that I had no idea what he was talking about. And turns out my mic was not working. All indications were that it were, and it turns out that it wasn't. So I apologize. It's not the quality we're used to giving you guys, and I just wanted to get out in front of it. So we'll continue to get better. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the episode. We've got some really cool stuff coming, and AJ has an awesome project that he's working on that he's super excited to share with you. I'm super excited to see, and you'll start getting more and more information on that as the weeks progress. So enjoy the episode. Thanks again, and we hope you like it.
Okay, folks, I'm going to start us off with the Star Spangled Banner. Oh, damn.
The what?
I'm going to start us off
What?
with the Star Spangled. What is that noise?
There is no noise.
Now there's
Calm
not.
down.
Now there's not.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Behind the Gate podcast, where the dysfunctional duo is back at it again, and we just had 5 minutes of prep with microphones and setup and noises in the
Walking
background
on wooden planks.
Hopefully are not there now.
I don't hear anything
What's
right,
up, man?
right at this moment.
How the hell are you? Fresh back from this beautiful trip.
Yeah, awesome trip, all right.
Yeah.
Just sitting on the couch. Okay, now I hear noises. Yep, now I hear more noises.
Impossible.
Yeah, so those of you that don't know, I just went to Ecuador for like 8 days. Had all these plans. We're supposed to teach in 3 different cities, 6 different days of classes, or maybe even 7 different days of classes. And I got sick on day 2, and I'm still currently sick. Just got home yesterday. When did I get home? Last night, yesterday.
That's
and
such
I'm still
a bummer,
sick.
man. That I can't believe it. So I mean, like you've done a lot of traveling. This has never happened before. What like I knew you were sick just from your social, but give us a detail. What happened?
Okay, you're gonna laugh at so this is my theory, because I really don't know. Quito, where I was staying, I'm pretty sure it's like 9,500 feet of elevation or something pretty ridiculous. Keep in mind, I've been here before. Didn't affect me last time I went. But I did some research, and based on the research I did, it can happen. It may not happen. It doesn't really seem to have a rhyme or reason. And the article that I read said that athletes that are in really good shape are actually more likely to get some sort of altitude sickness. Don't know if that's true.
So,
that's what it said in the article that I read.
So so altitude sickness is where you think it started. Yeah, I've heard that before too. Because when I was in Utah this past winter, I was hands down in the best shape that I've ever been when I'm at elevation. And the first day, I was just like, dude, pounding headache. I went to bed at like 7 o'clock at night and just had to sleep it off. And Tim was with us. He said, yeah. So I guess the better cardiovascular shape you're in, the more susceptible you are to altitude sickness for some reason. I think it has to do with like, your heart rate's low, so you don't deliver as much oxygen. When you limit your oxygen, your heart is beating slow. There's less oxygen in your blood, and that also your whole body is kind of regulated a lot more, like in a tighter parameter than somebody who isn't. Yeah, yeah. So like ironically, people who like smoke a pack a day can go to altitude and they were not as adversely affected because they're used to like depriving their body of oxygen. But whereas athletes require more oxygen. So I think I get that right. I'm no scientist, but yeah, that's what I heard. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely attest to the fact that altitude sickness sucks. So you think that's what it started?
Yeah, so get there day one we get there, we went to the gym, did a pretty hard session at the gym, and then we went to like a dirt jump park and I rode the dirt jump bike for a while, which is exhausting by the way. Um,
Especially at elevation. Yeah.
and this was like fresh off the plane. And then day two, wake up and I get a tattoo in like the most painful place possible, pretty much in my armpit. And it was a 4.5 hour tattoo. And right at, actually, no, it was even at breakfast that morning. I told Mateo I was a little dizzy. And I'm like, listen, just a warning. I have vertigo episodes every once in a while. They're extremely bad when I do get them, but don't worry, I won't get one. I'm just letting you know I feel a little dizzy right now. So we went to the pharmacy and we got something that was similar to Dramamine. Son of a gun.
Son of a gun. Look at that. Stupid idiot. Doesn't silence his phone. Okay, we're good.
What a loser.
Complete idiot.
My story was really about
Go
to reach
ahead.
the
You got some
climax.
Dramamine or something like
Okay.
Dramamine. Okay, go.
So
go,
I got
go.
some Dramamine, took it, warned Mateo of the problem I have, which for those of you that don't know, I have like just a really bad vertigo problem. So can't sit in the car unless I'm driving. Thank God it doesn't affect me on the dirt bike, but pretty much anywhere else, it's a huge issue. And when I have my attacks or episodes, whatever you want to call them, it's pretty much, a half hour to an hour of complete hell. I can't see, I can't move, or I throw up. I pour sweat. You're making a ton of noise.
Do you know what I'm doing, AJ?
Are you like licking your arm?
No.
What is that?
I don't understand why the mic is so sensitive. I have a pen in my hand and I'm writing something on a piece of paper on a desk. That's literally all I'm doing.
Well, maybe everyone else can't hear it.
Okay,
Only I
I'm just gonna not move a freaking muscle and hopefully a hair doesn't move on my body. Go ahead.
Are you taking notes on my story? Damn it!
Yes.
Because if not, you better not be writing. Okay.
No,
Unless you're taking notes.
I'm scribbling. Never mind. I can't even tell you whose name I'm scribbling. She may or may not be your mom.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyhow, where the heck was I? This is the worst story I've ever told. I warned him of my problem. Basically, it's terrible when I do get them. So I am getting my tattoo, which was pretty horrible. First, like 45 minutes wasn't bad, and then as he made his way up to my armpit, it got worse and worse. But it's fine. I mean, I deal with pain just fine. And then at the end of the tattoo, I stood up a little too fast, and I got kind of dizzy. But it was nothing that even caught my attention. I was just like, all right, just when you stand up quick and you get loopy for a second. I walk into the next room. The tattoo guy comes out and he hands me his phone so I can put my email in because he wants to email me the pictures. As soon as I start typing in my email, I get to AJ and then type in the C, and I'm like, oh no, like it hit me. And I'm like, oh no. I put his phone on the couch. I stood up, and then everyone looked at me and they knew right away something was wrong, but I can't talk. So when it happens, like if I talk, I would just throw up. So I looked for the nearest bathroom or exit of the building, and the closest thing was the exit to the building. And I got to the door, but couldn't find the doorknob, so somebody let me out. And then I tried to walk down the stairs and tripped down 2 of the stairs, got to the bottom, and I'm already pouring sweat. I've already sweat through my shirt in 15 seconds.
Dude, that's beyond vertigo. That's crazy. But go on.
It's terrifying. I mean, if the first time it ever happened to me, I thought I was dying. I was 100% sure I was dying.
A heart attack.
Yeah.
The
first time it happened to me, listen to this. First time it happened to me, I was on a plane.
Oh, was 2 years ago what happened to you? I remember that. But I didn't know it was a vertigo attack. Yeah.
When I had the EKG afterward, they thought I had a heart attack. So maybe I'm having heart attacks all the time. I don't know.
That's alarming.
Seriously, it's really, really bad when it happens. And
so I've had vertigo. I've had vertigo one time in my life, to the point where I went to bed completely normal. I woke up in the middle of the night out of the absolute clear blue, and the only way I could describe it to somebody who would ask, it's the worst pain I've ever been in. And it's it's not a physical pain, but there's no other way to describe it, because you open your eyes and it's like you're spinning in a circle, at 1,000 miles an hour. You cannot do anything. By the time I woke up in the morning, it felt like the worst hangover of my life. Felt like I would just got off like a freaking roller coaster, and I could not move. I had to go to the emergency room. I couldn't sit up in the car. I had to lay down, and then I couldn't even walk into the ER. They had to wheelchair me in there, and I stayed in there the whole day. They pumped me full of like IVs, meclizine.
Meclizine, yeah, that's what I have.
They gave me anti-anxiety medicine supposedly combats the nausea. So I think they gave me like a Xanax or alprazolam, in addition with the meclizine. Super weird, but by the end of the day, it was gone, and it came out of nowhere, and it was gone, and it was the
and
weirdest
you've never had one
freaking
since.
thing. Haven't had one since. I've gotten close.
Wow.
I felt super weird, but that was the only time. And I'm telling you, man, I'd rather break my arm 10 times than go through that
Oh
again.
yeah. Oh, and so I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know many people that have had them. Like, and you described it basically exactly what it's like for me.
It's terrible.
Oh my God. So nightmare. And as soon as it starts happening, I kind of know what to do at this point, but it's still pure panic. So I lay on my back. I didn't throw up.
Because there's literally
a
nothing
miracle.
you could do. There's nothing you could do to.
You just got to ride it out.
Nothing.
And
there's no
I
water.
have my
There's
meclizine pills.
Yep.
But I don't think that I didn't have them with me. They were at Mateo's house. And I don't think it would have really mattered at that point. You got to ride it out for the half hour, however long it lasts. So Mateo's like, do you want me to take you to the hospital? I'm like, and I couldn't talk. I think I just maybe shook my head no, or maybe I didn't even say anything. I just continued to lay there. Rode it out there for like 20 minutes, and then they were finally able to get me back. So this is in the steps leading up to the tattoo shop, so I'm causing a complete scene. Then they're able to get me to stand up for the 5 seconds to walk me up the steps to get me into the tattoo shop, and the first thing I see is just the couch in the waiting room. So I lay down. One of the girls, like the assistant there, brings me out a blanket, and I went to sleep for a couple hours. And when I woke up, I just had the chills and I was shaking. And I think the vertigo thing was probably just shit luck. And I think between the workout, the biking the day before, the tattoo, and then the exhaustion of going through the vertigo deal, and probably the elevation combined, gave me a really bad fever. Like I straight up just got sick. My body couldn't handle it.
Yeah. That's
Again,
crazy.
this is my theory. This is my theory, but this is like this series of events that happened. So now I wake up and I have a bad fever and I'm sweating, but I'm freezing cold. Everyone knows what a fever's like, but that sucks. And I went through that for 2 days. We were supposed to fly to Manta, which was a different city, to do a class. We had to cancel that class altogether. In the 2 days where I was sick as a dog, I couldn't eat. I couldn't stomach anything down. So I was just trying to drink smoothies and milkshakes, like protein shakes, all of which were blended with ice that I cannot drink because you can't drink the water or the ice if it comes from a faucet from there, or we'll get sick. Yep. So all I'm consuming for 2 straight days is the water that I'm not supposed to be drinking, which I didn't think of until after the fact. So then I got the most extreme food poisoning I've ever had in my life, which lasted, I still have it now. At least I can function now, but like.
So you think it's from the water?
This is my theory, but yeah, just the way all the events strung together, that's the only thing I can really guess to make sense of it.
Well, I mean, they said like when you go to those places, you shouldn't even brush your teeth with that freaking water.
Right.
We're just, we're not used to it. We don't have any sort of like defense to that, whatever's in there.
Right. So it was just a nightmare. So then we flew to Guayaquil, which is a different city. This was Friday, Saturday. So the tail end of the trip, and still extreme food poisoning at this point. I mean, I'm sitting on the plane, just like doing everything I can to not throw up and crap my pants simultaneously. And I had to teach 2 days there. And that was it. It was the only 2 days I taught the whole time. And it was a nightmare of 2 days because I was just, I can't even really recall it because I was in such like a bad place.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucked.
Is wild.
It really sucked. It feels good to be back in the United States and be able to actually eat and drink and.
I could imagine. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, so that was fun.
So did you enjoy I mean, how much did you get to enjoy?
The first day and a half. I mean, the first day was a blast. And then the first part the first day, like the morning of it, I got the tattoo. That was all fun. The first hour and a half of the tattoo is fun, and then everything after that, the whole rest of the trip sucked, unfortunately.
Bummer,
You know,
man.
what sucked the worst is that like all I wanted to do was just get on a plane and get home and just be in misery at my own house. But to be in
Yep.
that bad of misery somewhere else, it was a bummer.
Ugh, yeah, that sucks. I feel bad for you. So like, how does that work with all the class? You have to refund all the money and all that.
Yeah, so I don't know actually. Mateo, who is my friend that I stay with there, he runs a motocross school there. He's originally the person who hired me to go to Ecuador last year, which I think, by the way, was like our first or second ever podcast, wasn't it?
I think it's the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Mateo, we agreed on a price he was going to pay me to come for the week. And then I just told him, I mean, you know me, I'm super reasonable. I was just like, listen, whatever money you missed out on, obviously you don't have to pay me what we agreed to because I taught a third of the days that we were supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that on top of all of it, yeah, I lost out on, you know, over $5,000. So that sucks too.
Ouch. Ugh. Nothing you can do about it either. I mean, it's just a really unfortunate series of events, man.
Yeah.
That
And I've
sucks.
been sick before, and you know, the vertigo thing is like its own deal. That sucks, but it is what it is. And I've been sick before. I've had food poisoning before. I think when I was in Costa Rica, I got food poisoning, but it lasted for like 6 hours, and then I was totally good.
Yeah,
I'm
once you
talking
cap it out.
this food poisoning lasted from Wednesday until
Because it
what
probably
is it?
wasn't food poisoning per se. Like it wasn't like a salmonella or E. coli or something. It was probably, whatever the hell you get from the water. Diphtheria? Who the hell knows?
Oh, so
Beaver
that's
fever?
yeah, yeah. So it's a the Black Plague. So it's just a different thing. Yeah, I guess, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I had a day and a half of enjoyment, and then the rest was not so good. But you know what? Life goes on. Life goes on, Bryce.
You're alive. That's you know, that's a silver lining to the whole thing. I mean,
That I
Jesus.
am.
Of all the things you could have, the whole looking at it, the whole trip was like a life risking trip, right? So you go to a country. Look, objectively, third world country, right? You then you're in some you were planned to go into some areas not necessarily known for safety. Um, you do reckless things on bikes and dirt bikes, so those are all variables to your life.
Mm-hmm.
You get a tattoo in a tattoo shop. Now, I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was clean. I'm sure, but me, you never know, man. I don't know. In a place like that, there's some seedy places in the U.S. that I would never get a tattoo,
Right.
but you could have died from an infection over that. I mean, who the hell knows? But you're alive. That's all that matters, I guess.
Um.
That's
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it really sucks. That's my
speaking of
silver
which,
lining.
did you hear about the racer who got struck by a car at Unadilla? How terrible is that? Did you not even
Yeah,
hear this?
what? No, what the hell? Yeah, I was gonna get into dirt bikes, but that's an interesting segue. I wasn't gonna start there, but yeah, dude, what the hell?
I guess a drunk driver. So the way that Unadilla is set up, like I'm pretty sure you park across the street and you have to just walk across like a pretty high speed. It's a one lane each way type road, but it's fairly high speed. And you have to cross that to get to where the pro paddock is. And I guess it was at night and the car didn't have the lights on. I mean, God, that's so horrible. I can't.
I know, and
And
I
he was a
mean,
racer. He was
so
like
so
pretty
yeah,
good too.
so
He made a couple of the 250 events. Like he made the top 40, which is no joke.
yep. So I mean, for those of you who don't know, didn't follow it, didn't hear about it, 20-year-old kid, um, who was at Unadilla. He was pro. He got hit by a car and died at the race. Like extremely, extremely tragic. Was the guy drunk? I think the guy was. I think it was a drunk driver, right?
It was, yeah. It was a drunk driver and there was a kid in the car.
Jeez, man. Yeah,
apparently.
that's
Yeah,
that's so terrible.
Jonathan Mazak was his name. Yeah, that's that sucks. I was talking to Jason at SGB, and I guess he knew Jonathan, and actually one of Jason's riders went to Unadilla with Jonathan. So
So,
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
but
how
yeah,
fast was he going? Was it on a road?
yeah,
It
it
was
was.
on a
I
road,
guess
right?
I
I don't
guess it was
know.
on the road, and like apparently I saw somebody like quotes from somebody telling the story saying that they went to cross the street. Jonathan stopped him because he saw a car coming. So I don't know. It sounded like they were a little sketchy crossing the street to begin with. So who knows?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
dude, a
Just
car doesn't have to be going very fast to kill you. It could be going 10
no,
miles
it's
an
true.
hour.
And then yeah, run you over. Who knows? But yeah, what a terrible, terrible thing. Um, lots of interesting dirt bike
The reason
news
I just
coming.
thought of that is because you could die crossing the street, literally.
Oh yeah, and we talked about it a couple episodes ago in your little where the hell were you? Switzerland adventure where you almost watched a guy die on a moped or a
Oh yeah.
scooter.
Yep, that would have been my fault too.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Um, no, like lots of interesting news out of the dirt bike world this past couple weeks. Just a bulleted list here. We got Cole Seely retires.
Oh yeah, that caught me off guard. I didn't expect that one.
Nope. What else is noteworthy? None of the Kawasaki guys are going to MX and Nations, which that's an interesting decision. I'm really
Wait,
curious
so
about
no
that too.
factory Cowie guys at all? Like, depending on, doesn't matter what country they're from?
I mean, now you're gonna put my feet to the fire. I don't know. I just saw the announcement saying like at least the big names aren't gonna be there from the U.S. Maybe it was just U.S. Obviously, Tomac, Cincerillo, the big names they're not
Huh.
going. So I was gonna ask you about that because I figured you might have had some inside scoop on that.
Well, all I know is it costs the teams a ton of money to do it. And I think
Okay.
that they just don't really have interest in doing it because the guys are, a lot of the guys don't really want to do it, I don't think. It's kind of at a weird point of the year where you're making the transition from outdoors to supercross. And I don't know, maybe the American guys realize more and more how much at a disadvantage we are to the GP guys.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that's all they do is ride outdoors. And pretty much all we do is ride supercross. We have a few months where we ride outdoors, but the rest of it, from September through May is all supercross. So to expect to go there, spend a ton of money, and to expect to do well against, guys like Hurlings, Caroli, any of those guys, I don't know. It's tough.
So let me ask you this: what do you think of the U.S. lineup that were chosen? So you
I
got
think
Jason
I think
Anderson,
it's actually
Justin Cooper,
good.
and Zach Osborne.
Yeah, Osborne is just a beast. He'll never give up. I think he's a great pick always. Because even if he's not feeling it on that particular day, like he's just a fighter. Uh, Anderson, kind of same thing. Anderson will go there and fight it out. And then Justin Cooper, great starter. He'll probably get the whole shot, and he's not easy to pass, and he's fast. I don't know. I think that could be a surprisingly good team.
Could be. Could
What are your
also.
thoughts?
I mean, we have. I hate to say it, two guys that aren't known for being completely devoid of injuries, right? In Anderson and Osborne. And is it worth the risk before Supercross season? That's where I would be thinking, playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I don't know. But some of these guys also probably have the thought process of America hasn't won it in a few years, and if they want to go there and uh, if if they won, I mean that is a huge deal. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think when
Interesting.
is it anyways? I don't even know when it
Um,
is.
Me neither.
September?
Let's see. Let's
October?
Google it. September 15th, 16th.
Did you just Google it that fast?
I had an article up and I just read it.
No.
So it's coming up.
Also, hearing lots of background noise, so quiet it down over there.
Okay, I guess I won't move again.
Right, whatever you're doing right now is perfect. So nothing.
I won't talk either.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Let's just sit here in silence.
So how about
Hey,
Cole Seeley? Hold on.
uh,
What about Cole Seeley? What do you think about that?
I I think it's a good call on his end. I think that he probably has made a lot of money in his career, and he was at the point. Did you watch his interview with Swap Moto there?
No.
Pretty uninteresting interview, honestly. Not because of Cole. I think
So do
the
you think
swap guy just kind of bores me. But
was he
Cole
on
was
was he
basically
in a
saying he
contract
just
year?
wasn't into it. Yeah, yep.
So do
So
you think it was entirely his decision, or do you think he might have had the opportunity to quit while he was ahead, so to speak?
no, he would have had a ride, whether it was with Honda or somebody else. I know according to this interview, he said that he had kind of made up his mind February or March, and then he just so happened to get hurt again in outdoors, and that was kind of the final straw,
Mm-hmm.
and that was that.
I mean, it's crazy. You're like, and these guys retire so young.
Yeah, Cole
29?
Seeley is 29 though, which was I say slightly older than I expect, but then I remember that I'm 26 now. I'm just older than I think I am.
Yeah, I mean, when did Dungy retire? When he was 26, 27? These guys
That's
retire so.
crazy.
I know, and they
Yeah,
already
Dungy
completely
obviously
all
has
set.
more than enough money to ever have to work again in his life. And even Cole Seeley, I think people would be surprised with how much money a guy like that's made in his career.
Yeah,
He's
I'd be
got millions
interested
of
to.
dollars in the bank. I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll work again, but he probably
Well, those guys at
to
the
live the
top, I mean,
lifestyle.
I'm sure there's just so many opportunities outside of racing to even be, work for Troy Lee or any of his endorsers. Really, I mean, I'm sure they
Right.
would keep him
It's
on.
funny you said that actually, Troy Lee specifically. In the interview, he talked about that's his plan. He has something in the
Oh,
works with
really?
Troy Lee already. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Cole seems like a smart dude. I'm sure he'll be. And in the interview too, he just talked about how he just wants to go to the track and be able to just have fun. Those guys don't get the chance to do that. I mean, I do, and I always have. But those guys go there, and it's work, and it probably sucks a lot of the time, and they don't want to be doing it a lot of the time. He just wants to go
I
to
know.
the track and be able to have fun again.
So interesting you should say that because Cianciarulo just came out and said that he's having the best time on his dirt bike that he's ever had, the most fun he's ever had. He's a little younger, obviously, but I think that bodes well for him going into the remaining part of the outdoors and certainly into the Monster Energy Cup and Supercross season. He's having a lot of fun on his bike. You think he's gonna learn from his mistakes last year, and now that he's having fun and maybe taking some of the pressure off for himself, the results are going to come?
Yeah. Oh, I also think it's easy to say you're having fun when he has such a comfortable points lead, and he's been pretty much dominant the whole season too. It
Yeah,
could have
that
nothing to do with that.
certainly helps.
But yeah, um, yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to be good on a 450. I think he rides crazy aggressive, and he's going to have to tame some of that down going to the big bike. But I've seen videos on Instagram. I know he's been on it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll do just fine. Oh.
So give us a little. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait, because I had something. Oh no, you go ahead. What were you going to say? Because I was going to talk about this weekend, and I'm sure you didn't watch it.
I was just going to talk about what the upcoming 450 class looks like for Supercross and how a guy like you fits in the mix and how the whole series kind of gets shaken up again this season.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that because when they said Cianciarulo was going 450, which I knew already, but I just kind of forgot. I'm like, oh, here we go. There's another really fast guy going up to the 450. But then Cole Seeley retires, so it's like, okay, it evens out. For the most part, it does kind of always even itself out. You always have in recent years you have 15 to 19 factory guys in the 450 class, which I say that lightly, but it's like that's pretty ridiculous because that leaves you like 2 or 3 spots as a privateer if you're lucky to get into the main event. But it always seems to hover around that point. It's not like there's just guys loading into that class and no one's leaving. And you always have people hurt too. I mean, there's years and there's certain races where everyone's healthy, and then there's always a string of races where it seems like everyone's hurt. So I don't know.
Is there any news on what Shane McElrath is going to be doing?
250 again, because he didn't point out. So he's Troy Lee again, I would imagine.
So how does that work for the 250? I'm assuming West, or is he running East?
I don't know. Does Troy Lee change duties?
It doesn't matter. So
yeah, they do that.
That doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. My question is, how does that point out situation work? What is his play?
So I don't know actually
he'll
exactly
jump on the 450
how it works.
a fair amount of times.
All I know is that at the tail end of last year, if he had scored like a couple more points, he would have bumped out of that class. So he got hurt, and I'm doing air quotes right now. I think he did kind of get hurt, but then he could have roughed it out and ridden, but he chose not to because he didn't want to point out. Right. So I don't know what the point out process looks like. I don't know if it's a consecutive amount of years in a row that you have to score X amount of points, or if it's just 1 year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's strange.
Oh, I think Martin Davalos finally pointed out too, didn't he? Yeah. So Martin's 450 now too. Forgot about that. Darn it.
Now I wonder, you think Brock Tickle comes back somewhere, or you think he privateers it? How does?
That's a good question too.
Gonna jump back on KTM. I'm assuming that once they get a hit like he did, then contract's null and void. Or
yeah, I don't know what he would do. I mean, he lives in California, so it is easy for him to start hitting the West Coast ones and then try to get a fill-in ride. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Barcia's done in the past, Dean Wilson's done in the past. I don't know if he'll do that or not. I don't know.
Some stuff to keep our eyes on. Yeah, there's some stuff to keep your eyes on for this coming season. But we'll
did you see results from this weekend, Unadilla?
No, man, I've been out of it, and I'm going away again on Wednesday. So, no.
Ken Roxon 1-1, annihilated everybody.
I did,
which
see.
Was
I didn't
pretty
see
awesome.
Full spectrum of results, but I did. I mean, everybody shared that on social media. I feel like, which is good for him, man. He was way ahead of everybody too, way ahead.
Oh my god! And you got to watch highlights, or so if you haven't seen highlights already of him just riding that track. It's so cool to watch. Just feet on the pegs, standing up. Like, that track's gnarly. Crazy ruts the whole way through.
Well, you could tell he was having a good time. He had a couple, whips and cool stuff for the fans. He had that one, look back, super crazy whip over that. You know what I'm talking about? Do you see that video?
Yeah, with the sky shot. Yeah. That jump's so fun.
Yeah. So you could tell he's definitely in a flow. I'm wondering if this is kind of like, I hate to use the word comeback, but after, all the issues he had last year, and then we find out it was like a health problem, and to his own admission, it seemed to have all stemmed from the whole Lyme issue and all the health-related problems he endured after that. I mean, you got to wonder how that affected him for the length of time that it did, and maybe now he's been riding well. But the dominance that he showed last weekend was just crazy.
He also does way better when there is no heat involved, I feel like. Although he's won championships in the outdoors before, so it's hard to say that. All I know is that Unadilla, it wasn't hot at all. Actually, I think I saw a post-race interview and Muskin was wearing a sweatshirt or a jacket.
Dude, this weekend up in the Northeast was absolutely gorgeous. It was like one of the nicest summer weekends I can ever remember. It was perfect.
Really? Just like mild and like nice at
no,
maybe a light
zero humidity
windbreaker at night or something?
Like in Connecticut, the high was less than 80 degrees. Like that never happens. And no humidity. It was just perfect.
That's nice.
So, yeah.
That is nice. Wait, I had a couple other things here. I saw 2 interviews where Cianciarulo and Tomac were both talking about arm pump. So Cianciarulo I've never heard him complain about arm pump, and he was talking about it really bad and gave like an in-depth uh, example of what corner, and which was actually really interesting. I mean, this was just a podium interview, and he was going pretty in depth with this. I noticed before this guy shot that big tabletop you're talking about, it's kind of an off camber fadeaway type left-hand turn. And every lap he'd come around, I could hear him on the clutch, just, I'm like, oh, something's like, he was making it work, but you could tell that it's not how you're supposed to hit a turn. And what that was telling me is that he was wanting to ride up and out of that turn, or his bike was, and he was trying to get the bike to lean over more by using the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
But he said his arm pump was so bad in his right arm that he couldn't keep his right elbow up. So his outside elbow in that corner was dropping, which if your outside elbow drops, your chest pivots away from the turn, and you'll make the bike ride up and out of the turn. Oh my God, what is happening over there?
Dude, it's so frustrating. I got all this stuff connected to my computer, and my phone's on silent, and it rang on my freaking computer. Stupid.
It did?
It's connected to the same Wi-Fi. Yeah.
All right, you're fired.
Whoops.
You're fired. So that was interesting because most guys won't admit to arm pump. And then Tomac, after the first moto, because Tomac got the whole shot and was leading and faded all the way back to 7th and did one of those weird Tomac rides where he just was very average.
Mm-hmm.
And afterward, he said that he just got absolutely terrible arm pump and he couldn't hold on. And I was like, holy cow, that was the first time I had ever heard him say that. So, I mean, people wonder what's up with Tomac. Why is he so on this weekend, so off the next weekend? Arm pump. Single-handedly could answer every single one of those. Because I know personally, if I get arm pump, my race is over. And I get arm pump almost every single race.
So let me ask you this.
It gets to the point where you can't feel anything.
So what would cause that to happen like this late? I mean, they're obviously in shape now. And one of the biggest things that everybody says about arm pump is mostly it's a fitness thing, right? The more in shape you are, especially riding shape, the less likely you are going to get it. And obviously it depends on the track and the conditions and all that stuff. But like they're in riding shape right now. What would cause it to all of a sudden be an issue? Not to say that
I would argue that
all of a sudden.
I would argue that it's more of a mental issue that initiates it. So if Tomac is kind of like mental, well, like just for me, for example, I don't get arm pump when I'm at the practice track feeling my flow and I'm hauling ass and I can't do any wrong in the bike. And then what's the difference between that and 2 days later I fly to a race and all of a sudden I'm riding tight and I'm holding my breath and I'm looking behind me and I'm a nervous wreck and now all of a sudden my arms are so pumped I can't ride.
Well, didn't you just kind of answer your own question right there? Maybe it has to do with. So I see what you're saying. Like the mental can have an impact on the physiological, meaning like
right. So that initiates the physiological, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
Your mental state initiates the chain of events.
Got it.
But then you have guys that are physically built different. So you have a guy that's like Marvin Muskin, who is a toothpick, and I would say 98% of the other Supercross riders who are toothpicks, maybe when that mental freak out kicks in, maybe they don't have the physiological effect as bad as somebody like myself would. And Tomac is actually built more like me. Roxon is built more like me. And there's some of the rare few that, like, if they took their shirt off, they actually have some muscle in their upper body. And I think when you have, like, mentally, you have to start to have that freak out and start to hold your breath. Those guys have a lot more muscle developed in their upper body. Maybe their arm pumps a lot worse than the guys that are tiny. I don't know. That's my theory.
Makes sense. I follow you. Yeah, because when you start,
my arm pump is debilitating. And if you saw me with my shirt off compared to any other Supercross guy, I have more upper body muscle than really any of them. I don't mean to. It's just no. Weston Pike. I don't know how. He doesn't have more muscle than me, but he's huge. Like he's just he's like a football player. How he doesn't get arm pump, or maybe he does and he just doesn't tell anybody. Or maybe he's such a mental beast that he just is never fazed by anyone or anything. That's a miracle.
A miracle.
But I don't know. That's
arm pump's killer,
everyone's been wondering about Tomac and why he's like that, why he's so hot and cold. it could be as simple as arm pump. I mean, if it's anywhere near as debilitating as mine is, I'm telling you right now that it's simply arm pump. I just didn't think for some reason that those guys got it like I did. I don't know why, because sometimes I forget that they're human.
Right. Yeah.
But
interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any notes, but I keep having thoughts pop in my head that have no relation to each other. Did you see that? Totally switching gears here. No segue at all. Did you see group chat had rented a skid steer and had a dozer out at the drive-in?
I did see that.
Track?
Yeah, I did. I'm super jealous. Jealous.
I've extreme FOMO. Zach Romano put a vlog out on YouTube. You should watch it. It's pretty hilarious, actually. For people listening, you could go to YouTube and I think just type in Zach Romano and ZAK. Little plug there, Zach. You're welcome. And he put up a vlog and like Joel's in the dozer at the beginning and Dylan's trying to figure out how to work the skid steer. And it looks like a blast.
Dude, I've never been more jealous of people's lifestyle as I am right now of those guys. Like, kind of just untied from any. I mean, not to say they don't have any responsibilities, but like, you know, my wife isn't letting me freaking take off for hours on end to go build a track, even though that's exactly what I want to do at all times. You know, it's like,
well, it's funny because they went through like their little phases of being pretty boring, and well, pretty much all of them bought houses, so it's like they went through the phases of having to fix up. That's not.
Oh, they're definitely doing it right. I'm just saying, like.
But now they're right back to being kids again, and they're out there on the pit bikes, awesome. And it's just like, oh yeah, I'm jealous. I want to go out there and ride with them.
Yeah, makes me sick how freaking I have no time
and they bought an airbag. Did you see that? Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, of course. That's sick.
So what's cool is they're all pitching in for these things. So they're all like, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them pitched in for the skid steer rental for the day. So it's basically costing each of them nothing. They all chipped in for the that big airbag. So, which I don't know, I think it was a couple grand. Which looks really sketchy, by the way.
I wanna hit it, but I'm afraid of what I'll try to do on it, and I know it's hurt.
Yeah, I don't know if I would really try anything on it, because it seems like if you were to crash, you're just gonna bounce.
I feel like it's a really narrow margin of error. It's a pretty small airbag, but. Yeah, it looks fun. It would give me a false sense of confidence for sure.
I don't think I would backflip to it. I think I'd have to go to an foam pit first.
That's probably.
But then again, you've done backflip on skis. Although, is that way different than doing it on your feet?
No, it's a lot easier on skis. I think
because I know how to do backflip.
You're hitting a lip.
It's on the flat ground.
Yeah. It takes a lot more commitment, I think, to just be able to huck it on your feet, and it doesn't look all that impressive. But anybody who can do it, yeah, because you're just using your own power to jump and flip. This is someone I can do both, so I know like skiing, you're hitting or any jump, you're hitting a gap, you're getting launched in the air, but you're especially with like the takeoffs, you're getting kind of naturally kicked backwards anyway. So you just kind of like lean back and you can really lay them out, you know?
Yeah, I guess I've just never experienced the feeling of continuing to pull the handlebars back and just going that direction on a bicycle or a dirt bike. Because I think about it, 26 years of my life, I've hit a jump and done the same thing to make sure I get both wheels back on the ground. It just seems like it'd be weird.
I think it's like anything. It's where your head goes, your body's gonna go too. So like, it's really. Although I love watching like even the dirt bike videos of the guys who like try to throw a backflip and clearly have never been upside down on anything in their life. They're just like scorpion their bodies and the bike doesn't move.
Where they take off like they're hitting a normal jump and then just touch their head and just to the back fender.
Huck their bodies backwards and they look like a scorpion and then just eat it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, hopefully I'll know what the feeling's like. I'd go to Pastrana's house in a month. 1 month from today.
Goody.
So maybe I shall learn. I'll at least learn into a foam pit. I don't know if he's got anything set up that's small enough for me to do it to dirt or not.
I want to ride a freaking razor.
Mm,
Literally, I could.
that is fun.
Yeah, I've never been in one.
You haven't?
No.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
dude,
Oh, dude.
I see him. I see him here, and I've come across him in trails, like while dirt biking in the woods. I don't understand where you ride them unless you have a crazy amount of land or somebody like has a good parcel or plot that you could kind of tool around on. At least in Connecticut, like
Well, yeah, up
there's
north,
nowhere
there's
to
a lot of
freaking ride anything.
snowmobile trails that are wide enough during the summer to drive those things. But but where we are in Connecticut, I don't know
Forget
where
it.
there's anywhere that's wide enough to even.
We've come across them several times on single track, like in Middletown in particular. Dude, I don't know how they get in there. And
Hmm.
it's one thing to just kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm poor, and I think of things in the terms of like it's a waste of money if you can't ride it all the time and enjoy it. But that's a poor person talking. I mean, I don't have 20 grand to
Yeah,
spend on a freaking
peasant.
razor to ride it once a year.
You peasant.
I know. What am I doing?
Well, I'm at 10%. What else?
Battery?
What else? Anything? Yeah, anything new in the life
Jesus.
of Bryce? I saw your dog just
Um,
had a birthday.
is
How old
that
is Chase, by the way?
podcast? He just turned 8. Just turned 8. Yeah,
8?
my buddy. 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't
He
that
doesn't look
nuts?
8. Yeah.
He's starting to get the white face. He's starting to get it a little bit.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, yep. I mean, dude. He still acts like a puppy. I think all Goldens do. He's just a freaking crazy dog, and now like Sawyer's getting a little bit older, and they start playing with each other, and Sawyer teases him and like tries to put food in his mouth, and then like Chase will get his whole mouth around his hand, but then Sawyer will pull it out and put it in his mouth, and he laughs hysterically. Dude, it's so funny.
I
Yeah.
am looking forward to that time when Bear can meet our child.
Yeah.
I think
Are
that'll
you
be
pregnant?
funny. I'm pregnant, yes.
Thought so. So, can we go back to mountain biking real quick? Did you see the new, like, all the new stuff that
Oh,
Thunder's putting in?
yeah.
Dude,
Which I
I
wonder how
want to
they're
go
going to
there
do that.
so bad.
Is that going to have railings?
I thought I heard that there were going to be railings on, like, well, because Highland has
Seems a
some
little
stuff with
dangerous.
railings. No, there's stuff that has railings. Although, that brings me to another point. Did you see that video of the guy trying to gap that, was it,
At Whistler?
yeah, dude. You saw that?
Yeah. So
So it's like
people
a
are
shipping
probably
container
totally
with
lost in
two.
this conversation. Yes.
So it's like basically a tabletop on off, but it's the table is made of a shipping container, and there's a gap onto it, step up, and then there's a gap
Hmm.
off to it, step down, and I mean, it's what 30, 40 feet long. It's a full length shipping container. It has
Yep.
railings on either side, and some dude tries to gap the whole thing. So so it looks like he's set up mint, except he gets the tail end like whipped out just a little too much and clips the railing on the right
Dude,
side
what's
and just
funny
goes.
is it wasn't even the railing; it was the sign that was on the railing. If you watch,
I missed. I don't
if you
remember
watch
that
it
part.
back, it's on like the danger. Here comes a drop sign. It's on the danger sign,
Oh
and
my
his
God,
tire
it's even better.
just clipped a little yellow sign, and it just endoed him. But I think
It-
he would have had
it-
it perfectly if it weren't for that.
Oh, he definitely had enough speed. He sent it to the freaking moon.
Yeah, I don't think I would
Dude,
do
the
that.
mountain biking, like within the last 5 years, has just gone absolutely ham, and is like almost indistinguishable from dirt bikes now. It's
Yeah,
like
like that loose
they're
fest thing they
hitting,
have.
dude. Those are jumps that are absolutely crazy. That supercross riders would think are huge. Like, and I mean, just how big the bikes are and bulky the suspension is. I mean, you get like a full downhill rig with like Fox 40 shock. I mean, they're triple clamp mounted forks that are practically dirt bike suspension. It's freaking nuts. And all this stuff. I mean, I love it. It's so cool to see like the
Yeah, for anyone
progression of
listening
everything.
that has not ridden a downhill mountain bike and is into motocross, you are missing out. And Bryce, you're making a lot of noise over there.
Yeah, I definitely was. Yeah, you are missing out.
It's
For
basically,
sure.
it is a dirt bike without a motor. It can handle anything you throw at it and more. It's awesome.
Yep.
I'm
You
walking
know,
into
it's
my
funny
cycling room
because,
right now to check on my wheels. Let's see if they've made any progress.
hey, here's a little tidbit about downhill.
Oh,
Ready? So, you know, we ride pretty hard, mountain bike and road. We've talked about it a bunch on the show. I think this season, my max heart rate, even in that cross country race, I think I was probably like in the low 180s, 180 maybe, right? And that's as hard as I can actually pedal and physically go. Okay.
mm-hmm.
I was at, now, for people listening, we have a very small, really nothing of a downhill, but it's Powder Ridge in Connecticut.
It
They've
takes
done,
about an hour to get up on the lift and about 3 minutes to get down.
it's a minute and a half. It's my favorite trail
Wait, is it only a
uh,
minute and a half to get down?
I KOM'd the downhill section, number one all time, a minute and 29 seconds.
Oh my God.
Okay, so it's very short. But what's crazy is going downhill, I hit my highest heart rates that I've hit all season going downhill. I was at 184 as my max heart rate, and like my averages were like 177 heart
Dang.
rate, which for me that's zone 5 maximum effort. It blows my mind that
Yeah, and that's no surprise.
can.
It's obviously same thing with dirt bikes. It's one of those rare things that like the adrenaline factor, right? I mean, what?
It's the adrenaline, but it's like also like the full body of it. You know what I mean? It's because like
But you
it's
can't
just
physically get your body to heart rates that you can get it to unless you're doing an activity like that.
exactly
Like
exactly.
I
Because I went
can't.
out
I mean,
for
if
a
I'm on
road
the
ride
road
the other
bike,
day. Yeah, dude,
if I hit 180
literally
on a road
cannot.
bike, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
But I could hit
Hmm.
on a dirt bike on lap 1, and I
Yeah.
sustain that.
Exactly. It's so wild how that is, and that's why like it's so frustrating. I know for you, for anybody involved in like any of these sports, it's like when people say, "Oh, hey, the bike's doing all the work." No, you're an idiot. Shut up. Like you cannot ever talk about it until you do it. It's so wild. But I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I hit the highest heart rates that I have all season on bikes going downhill.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Even when I was in Ecuador and I was riding the dirt jump bike, I probably all you would do is you would roll down the drop in, you would hit 3 jumps, you would turn right, and you would hit 5 more jumps. I only had to pedal 2 times, 2 pedal strokes the whole time. Other than that, it was just manipulating the bike under me and pumping the bike. By the end of that little section, I was boom right up into. I didn't have a heart rate monitor on, but I know, like I was maxed out. That was all I had. It's amazing how tiring that can be, just moving a bike under you. Because when you
For
watch it
sure.
back on video, it's like, oh, you're just riding a bike. It's so
Do you have
weird.
any BMX tracks near you?
Oh, I must. I don't
You
know,
should
but there
look
was
into it.
like in the town that we stayed in Ecuador, there was like 4 in that one town, like sick
BMX
ones
is
too.
huge in South America,
Well,
especially
dude,
like after the Rio Olympics when they had that freaking nasty track.
it's not even fair the fact that there's any type of endurance athlete that can live at 10,000 feet of elevation. Like
Well,
what?
case in point, I mean it's not 10,000 feet, but Tomac he has an
People talk
advantage
about
living in
Tomac, and
Colorado.
he's at like 4 or 5,000.
5,000.
These
Yeah,
people are double that.
I know. That's so insane. They
And
must come
even
down to sea level and just be absolute gods.
dude, I did a road bike ride yesterday, still sick, and we thought, I mean, we went slow. I thought, uh, or it felt like we were going slow. Still averaged 19 miles an hour. My average heart rate was like 130. I couldn't get out of breath if I tried.
That
And
is
it's not like I
sick.
really even worked out there. I just slept there for 9 days straight, but I think my body was starting to acclimate to it. So then the
Well, that
first ride
actually
back here, I
probably
just
helped
felt
you
like
not working
I,
out there. You were able to acclimate and get the blood saturation or the oxygen saturation up.
yeah, like even being sick, I felt like a beast on the road bike ride.
Do you see my ride from the other day? Little
The Yeah, 50 something. Did you go
57.
to the beach?
I did. Yeah, that was fun. It was fun. It was absolutely crazy windy because I
Yeah, and
told
then where did you
told
go? Because you didn't make it all the way back home.
I went to my in-laws. Went to my
Oh,
in-laws. That was the plan. I told my wife, I was like, yeah. She's like, how long is this gonna take? I'm like, yeah, probably less than 3 hours. She goes, yeah, right. I'm like, I'm gonna do this at 20 miles an hour because I know those roads, and you
yeah, they're
can
really good
really,
roads.
they're the best roads. They're the absolute best. And
But you had a
I
wind
get
issue?
on. Oh my god, dude! I was so mad because I felt so good. I felt phenomenal the entire time. Never once like felt like I didn't have it, and I was just fighting the wind. I kept looking down, and I'm like, "What the fuck? 17?" I felt like I was fighting like a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. I should have been. I should have been when I got down to the shore from like Central Connecticut. I got down to the shore. I was 40 miles, and I was like just under 20 miles an hour, which is pretty good. But coming back, man, holy crap! I couldn't get above 16 because of the wind. It was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, wind is annoying. I will say yesterday
Super
we
shitty.
didn't have a wind factor. Usually being on the WOD going, does wind go any direction at any given time? Or does it only go like
No, it goes any. I
east to
mean, it
west or
depends
west to
on the
east?
weather.
So it can go
I,
north, south, east, west. Yeah, you can go
yeah,
any direction. Okay.
depending on what. Yeah, yeah.
On the WOD path, I swear it only it only goes east or west. It only goes with the trail or against the trail. That's what it seems. But yesterday was
It's.
the
I mean,
first
it
time
could
I've
be
ever
true.
ridden. Yeah, yesterday was the only time I've ridden the trail where we were getting a crosswind the whole time. And it
Hmm.
wasn't that bad of a crosswind. So going out and back, it felt pretty fair going both directions. And that's the first time. Usually you have it super easy going one way. You're going 25, 26, and then you turn around and you're going 15 and you're like, son of a gun. Can't even move.
Yeah, wind is such a big factor. Cycling is so weird in that way. That people
That's why you just
we've talked
Swift.
about it before. It's like, man, I can't. Have we talked about before? Like the Element Bolt GPS computer that when it came out, like it actually created an aerodynamic advantage over like a 20-mile time trial. It shaved 12 seconds off of a time, like just adding this little 3-inch thing to the front of your bike, just because of the way it was like aero. If you take
Wait,
all other variables out of the equation,
using that GPS unit as opposed to a different one, or actually just adding that instead of
adding
having
it,
nothing on your handlebars?
correct.
What? Really?
Yeah, yep. The way it like it foil the air around the front of a bike frame or something. I don't know. It's like the way it's shaped actually like pierces the air in a different. Like it's so like people probably hear us talking about this and like that's the gayest thing ever. But
I could
but
see that
it's
though,
like
because
so
there's
true.
arrow handlebars that are narrow, and I guess that would kind of give you the effect of that part of your handlebars, especially because that's where your stem is. So it maybe deflects
Hmm.
the air around where your stem is. I was watching a GCN video yesterday or the day before talking about why the pro riders dump out their water bottles before some of the climbing segments at the Tour de France. And it
Oh,
was
save weight.
they did a test and they said the total weight between two full water bottles is, I don't know, however many kilograms.
It's gotta be at least a few pounds.
It's like
That's why
1.5 kilograms or
I've
something like that. Maybe, yeah,
so
1.5
I know
kilograms.
this sounds so ridiculous to people when I try to describe it to them, but like the times that I could ride in the middle of summer versus the like spring or fall uphill is noticeably different because in the middle of summer I have two water bottles and in the spring and fall I have one. And I know
Hmm.
that sounds so stupid, but I could feel it.
I
That's
never
a lot
ride
of
with more
weight.
than one, and I never fill my one to the brim.
You're
And this was
crazy.
before that video. Yeah, I was always like, I just felt how heavy one water bottle was. And I'm like, I don't even want to fill this thing. I just want to leave it like half empty and just have a couple sips of it. But
I
they
actually
said
toyed
over
with
the
the idea
course
of
of,
wearing like a weight jacket or a weight vest and just training at like 20 pounds heavier than my body weight and then
that's
see
actually a
what
good
I
idea
can
too.
just ride all. And then when I actually get into competition or go for a ride with like someone I want to beat the shit out of, like you, just pull the vest off and just rip.
Well, it said over the course of the one segment in the Tour de France that having two water bottles versus not having it, you were a minute slower having the two water bottles
A
full. So
minute?
yeah, a minute.
Ooh.
So it's like, holy crap. That was over, uh, not that long of a. I mean,
I bet you it wasn't that long. Yeah, that's crazy.
and it was like 8% grade, so it was pretty steep. So like weight is a huge factor at that point. Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Zwift, I got some type of I didn't get a new router, but I got some update to our internet, and I want to hop on Zwift and try it and see if my wattage is better now. It was something to do with the 2.4 and the 5.
Okay.
What is it? 2.4 and 5
gigahertz.
Is it gigahertz? Yeah.
It's supposed to thunderstorm today. I'm probably gonna jump on it because I'm leaving tomorrow. So maybe we could do that. And speaking of Zwift,
yeah, let me know.
I want to give a shout out. I'm not sure if he's listening or not, but Tyler Pierce. I really wish you texted me back the other day.
Oh yeah, you didn't text us back. What the heck?
No. We'll call him out. I know his stories crack me up, man. His stories crack me up. Mm-hmm. He's always getting into something. Did you see the bird that he rescued?
They are true. They are true stories.
Oh yeah.
It's like watching a short film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Tyler, if
no,
you're listening,
I saw that there was a bird, but I didn't have the time at the moment to watch the whole story about it.
Yeah, but so they're doing an event. It's 100 miles plus one. And granted, it is 100 Zwift miles, and what is that? 4 hours. It's relatively flat, and you're with a big group, so you can average a pretty high speed. But still, 4 hours on a trainer sucks bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to doing that
because I want to do it.
So they're doing it monthly, and I think if I understand it right, they're every month. It's an hour or maybe 3 hours later than the last month. So basically, it gives everybody in every time zone an opportunity to hit that event like at a reasonable time for their schedule. So it's like once a month, I think, and they just did the last one last week, and it's like maybe a first Wednesday of the month, maybe, I think. So whatever it is, I definitely want to do it. I want to do it with you. I think we should get Whitrock in on it, and maybe if we could do it with Tyler, that'd be cool. Oh yeah, Dom's gonna be set up too, right? Yeah. Sure. I see those guys are getting out on the road a little bit more, Dom and Dylan, and that's cool.
Yeah, so Dom and Sawyer did like a 20 the other day.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Yeah, I just want these guys to text me. Yeah, I want them to text me and ride with me instead of not texting me. Maybe they don't like me. That's possible.
Probably not.
Or maybe no. See, I guess I'm just the new AJ. I just beat everyone's ass.
True. Yeah, I'd imagine that.
Humble brag. It's like.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, however I was on the mountain bike, when was that? 4 years ago? That's basically
something
the
like
level that you're at now.
I feel good, man. I feel real good.
All
right, buddy.
Let's wrap this shiz up. But before we do, hang on. Let me.
I want
to really quick.
I would like to plug something too, but you go first.
Oh, okay. This weekend, this Saturday, the 17th, I'm going to be in Greenwich, New York. It's spelled Greenwich, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Greenwich.
Yes, you're correct. Thank you. Greenwich. Okay.
I will be. I will be in Greenwich, New York, at Parker MX. Never been there before. Heard amazing things. That class is sold out, so sorry if you didn't sign up. Let's see. Then I'm going to Bermuda for a little vacation. Don't have to plug that, but that'll be fun. And then
don't drink the water.
Oh yeah, true.
Going to Bermuda.
Never drinking.
Height of hurricane season. Good move.
Yeah, I like danger. September 2nd, Labor Day. This is a Monday. Be at Tomahawk MX for a night class. So just a 3-hour ordeal. It's only $100. I think we're gonna cap at like 12 riders. There is room for that. If you want to sign up. And then we have Brett Q joining me September 19th at Sleepy Hollow MX, and that's somewhere in Pennsylvania. So Brett's awesome. That one should be cool. You can sign up for that at ajcatanzaro.com. And then that's pretty much it. And I think I'm back in Vermont doing a school in October, but other than that, it's just focus on straight rhythm. And
okay, so I'm glad you brought straight rhythm up, because are you allowed to hint at anything else? I know we talked a little bit about something you got in the works. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Okay. We'll keep
I think
everybody
the
on the edge
plan
of their
will
seats.
be, yeah, basically I'm going to keep it quiet until we release the video. And,
Okay.
yeah, we don't film the video for another month and a week. So the video will probably release, let me look at my calendar here. We'll release the video, yikes, probably the Tuesday before Straight Rhythm. And Straight
Okay.
Rhythm's October 5th, probably release the video October 1st.
I've
Yeah,
never been more excited about something in my entire life.
it
I'm
should
gonna
be really
just,
cool.
yeah, that'll be dope. Super
Should be cool.
cool.
I'm a little stressed because there's a lot that's going on right now with the bike build. Last year with Spencer, he had the bike build all taken care of. This year, of course, it's not me doing it because I can't even change an air filter barely. But I'm responsible for ordering all the parts and doing everything. So it's like just getting the things that it needs, which is stressful enough for me. But it's coming together. The gear is at
Nice.
Canvas MX. They're making the gear as we speak. Arai this morning sent a helmet to my helmet painter, getting helmet painted as we speak. The frame on the bike that I'm using, which I can't say what kind of bike it is yet, is being powder coated as we speak. And graphics, AGMX is currently in the process of making graphics. Wrapped up, got my title sponsors locked in as of this morning, actually. So everything's pretty dialed.
Exciting stuff, man.
Pretty,
I'm
yeah.
definitely looking forward to the finished product with that. Cannot wait.
Are you gonna go to the video shoot?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool.
100%. I will absolutely be there. Hell or high water. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
One thing that I did want to show some love to, because it just dropped this past week, was FXR gear. And before I say anything, you're still with FXR, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure am.
That would be weird. But no, so FXR just dropped their new line for 2020, and it is absolutely sick, dude. Did you see Henry Miller's setup this past weekend?
Yeah, I need to get some because
Dude.
I gave away 2 sets in Ecuador, and I'm really hurting on gear at the moment. So
Dude,
I gotta get
that
some
is
2020 stuff.
Sick. I love that like lime to like pink orange fade with the blue and the dude, it's freaking awesome. That literally was made for me. Go check it out.
Have you
everybody.
worn their gear? Or you don't really ride dirt bikes much anymore, but dude, their
No.
gear fits so well too. Doesn't just look good.
No.
Like I'm very picky about how it fits, and it fits
if
right.
If you move to Connecticut, which we don't want to open up that can of worms again yet, but if you move up here, I'll have no choice but to get another bike.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, first of all, you're making a ton of noise. So much noise. I've never heard more noise in my entire life.
Shoot. Yeah, I should really not ruffle papers.
Is there a tornado running across the top of your desk?
Yes, there is.
Jesus.
Yep.
So in Ecuador, for the 2 days that we taught, there's 2 very nice gentlemen that lent Mateo and myself 2 KTM 350 like XCs, like the wood versions.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like the 6-day I don't know, like that 6-day enduro thing. It was like the 6-day version.
Yeah, 6-day edition. Yeah.
A freaking blast. It just made riding even a motocross track so fun because you had the downside the jumps perfect, or else you would blow your ankles and your wrists out.
Yeah.
But the suspension being so soft, like you could just hit these slick corners and like actually get traction. They had horns on them, so every time I would hit a jump, I would toot the horn. It just so badly made me want to get one.
Are road legal. I mean, especially down there, I would imagine you could just.
I want to get one so bad and just go woods riding on it. The thing was just the power was so controllable, and the suspension was so plush. It just felt like I could do anything on it.
I think that if I had another bike that I was going to get right now, I would get one of the new 2-stroke KTM's with freaking fuel injection and oil injection. Like what? That is the fucking coolest thing ever.
I haven't ridden one, but I mean, maybe that's pretty cool.
Maybe they're poop, but I mean, just the technology is so sick. Never mix your gas again. You just freaking fill up the oil reservoir. Fuel injection, never rejet. Dude, what? And KTMs are basically, I think they're the only They're the only manufacturer that come with a non-off-road specific title. So you can literally just register any KTM on the road as long as you put like blinkers and taillight on it. Literally any KTM, even if it's a freaking SX 250.
Oh, really? Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Allie bought me a wireless. Is that what you call it? A phone charging pad thing. Maybe I talked about it last podcast.
You did.
All I know is my phone was just at 1%, and I panicked for a second, and then I remembered I had this. So I don't even have to unplug my headphones. I just plopped my phone onto that thing, and it's charging as we speak.
Welcome to 2019. You hear that background noise? That's me clapping.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, right.
All right, dude. Well, I gotta go do things in my life.
Yeah, same.
Gotta walk my dog and such.
Good catching up with you.
Hey, do we want to give people the FXR code so they can buy things?
That would be great, wouldn't it? Swell. Sure. Yeah. I was hoping you'd say that. Yes. Guys, we just plugged some FXR gear. It is awesome. AJ loves it. He swears by it. It's awesome. I can't even say how awesome it is. It's awesome. And it literally.
Put those damn papers down, Bryce.
I have to find the code, dummy. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I know what it is. Still... I remember it now, finally.
Oh, do you? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Give them the code and what they get off.
The code is ACFXRMX80. I repeat, the code is AC. What is it again? What did I just say?
ACFXRMX80.
Yep, and you get 30% off, even on brand new gear. As long as the code still works, which as far as I know, it still works. So yeah, a brand new 2020 gear, boom, 30% off.
That's a boom right there. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to us babble for however long it's been. Hopefully we didn't bore you to death. And
80 dreadful minutes.
Not even, because we had 5 minutes before that was screwed, and we had a couple minutes in between.
Oh, well.
Yeah. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Toodles.